Croissant power up to the Black Friday PSN sale. Is it still a scam this year? Let's find out. Now last year, they had a ton of games on really inflated prices, and quite honestly they were just trying to scam you. They were charging way more than they normally do, and they were relying on the Black Friday name to talk you into buying them. It was a terrible scam, but luckily this year they're not so bad. Now I'm not saying they're all good either. If you look at this slide from last year's video, these games are still a rip-off. Just like last year, stay away from them. But most of the games that were a rip-off last year are much better this year, and in general, it's a better sale. Although it's still not the best, most of the games are on quite a low percentage of discount, making it not a great sale in general. But luckily I've still found some really cool games at really good prices that can save you a ton of money. So don't worry, I got your back. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a good deal in the future, and you won't get scammed in a Black Friday sale either. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 28th of November, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up is Batman Arkham Collection. It was released in 2018, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the low price of £12.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal. Especially as this collection includes 3 full games, and all of their DLC, and on top of that the first 2 are remastered as well. Making this a great deal for 3 AAA Batman games, from probably the best Batman gaming franchise ever made. You can't go wrong really. In these third-person action-adventure games, you play as the Dark Knight, fighting a host of classical villains across 3 full AAA games set in Arkham Asylum and Gotham City. It features tons of Batman gadgets and vehicles, with an awesome combat system and a great story as well. If you're a superhero fan, especially a Batman fan, you'll love these games, so if you haven't played them, you should definitely pick them up. It's great value, and they're really awesome games. You'll really enjoy them, I promise. And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, this is a great place to start, apart from the fact you're buying 3 games, so it's a big risk to take if you don't end up liking them. But hey, if you like open world action games, or third person action games in general, you might really enjoy these games. You probably wouldn't, only if you don't like superheroes, which is a bit odd these days, but you never know. In any case, if you like the sound of them, check them out. They're well worth looking at. One of my favourite VR games is up next, Creed Rise to Glory. It was released in 2018, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £5.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and an absolutely outstanding deal. This is a VR boxing game that requires Move controllers, so if you don't have Move controllers you can't play it. In this game it follows the story of the first Creed movie, and you get to train under Rocky to become the best boxer around. It includes a full gym with a ton of boxing exercises for you to do, so if you just want to keep fit, it's got a virtual gym for you to do that. And then it's also got exhibition matches with a load of the boxers from the movie, and as a cool bonus it threw in the classic characters as well. So you get to fight Rocky, Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, Ivan Drago, all of the big hitters from back in the day. I've completed this game, and it's hands down the best boxing game on PlayStation VR. I can't say enough good things about it. If you don't own it and you're in any way interested, then just do yourself a favour and buy it now. We have a visual novel next, Danganronpa 1-2 Reloaded. It was released in 2017, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really decent deal. Especially as this bundle includes the first and second game, with improved graphics, and 2 new dating sim game modes as well. So you're getting the best version of 2 games, and some extra content as well, which is great. These are both visual novels, and in the first game you and your fellow students are imprisoned within your school in a winner-takes-all killing game, with your only hope for survival being to solve the school's mystery. While in the second game, you and your classmates are taken to the Jabberwock Island by your teacher, when evil forces return to start an all-new murderous game, and solving the mysteries of the island is once again your only hope. I've never seen anything about this series, but the name is very familiar. I see it around a lot and it seems to have a lot of fans. So if you enjoy visual novels, and you've heard of Danganronpa, or you're a fan of it and haven't played these games, why not take a look around? You're getting more than one game for a really good deal. And hey, if you've never played visual novels before, then getting 2 for this price from a really good series is a great deal. Anime games are always expensive, and getting 2 for 1 at this price is very good. So if you always wanted to try a visual novel, and you like the sound of the story in this one, then why not take a look? You might just find your new favourite genre. Next up is Doom. It was released in 2016, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £3.99, which is really great, as this edition now includes all 3 DLC expansions, and all of the feature updates as well, so you're getting the complete version of the game for a really awesome price. In this first-person shooter, you fight your way through hell, slaying demon hordes in this epic reboot of a legendary game series. It features fun destructible weapons, a melee system with gore-filled attacks, and it includes 12-player online multiplayer as well. But hey, if you're not a Doom fan, then check this one out anyway, because it's a great first-person shooter, and there's nothing like it, there really isn't. It's very unique and awesome. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters the video game remastered. It was released in 2019, so it's 3 years old, but it's a much older game than that really, and is on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a great deal. In this third-person shooter, you get to experience a Ghostbuster story, featuring voice acting by the entire cast, and a story written by the original film writers, making it a dream come true for fans of the series, as you use multiple weapons and upgrades to battle, wrangle and trap ghosts across New York in destructible environments. Like I said, this is a really good game for fans of the series, especially the first two, the rest don't exist. Well, apart from the newest one, that's not bad. You can basically consider this game Ghostbusters 3, and it's a pretty good game to play as well. Although if you're not a fan of Ghostbusters, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. But hey, it's a great game if you love Ghostbusters, and in general it's a pretty decent game. So if you're interested at all, or you're a huge Ghostbusters fan, then definitely take a look at this. You'll have a lot of fun with it, I promise. And hey, if you haven't played a third-person shooter before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend this one. If you're a fan of Ghostbusters or 80s movies, definitely go for it. It's a really fun ride, and it's a pretty good game. But if you're not a fan of Ghostbusters, then this game may not be for you. And that's fine, there's plenty more games for you to choose from, and I'll help you pick one out. So take a look around instead. This is a huge collection next, the LEGO Marvel Collection. It was released in 2019, so it's 3 years old, but the games are older than that really, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £14.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, considering this collection includes LEGO Marvel's Avengers, LEGO Marvel Superheroes 1, and LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2, plus all of the Season Pass content for all 3 games, which means you're getting 3 full LEGO games, and all of the Season Pass content as well, which is a ton of content for a really good price. Especially for LEGO games, they're usually pretty expensive. In these adventure platformers, you get to play a massive roster of Marvel characters as you play through the storylines from some of the biggest Marvel movies, and all new adventures as well, fighting some of the biggest villains from Marvel history, not yet featured in the movies. By now, if you're a fan of the LEGO games, you'll get the gist of them. Tons of characters, following the movies or the franchise they're based on, with a ton of fun gameplay that has co-op and multiplayer that's great to play with kids, or just for kids to play in general. So if you're a fan of Marvel and you like LEGO games, definitely check this out. There's a ton of content, and you won't get a better deal than this really. And hey, if you've never played a LEGO game before, then I would say pick up the one you like the franchise of. They've got tons of games with loads of different licenses. So if you're not a fan of Marvel, there's loads of the Rings, there's Pirates of the Caribbean, all sorts to choose from. So if you're a fan of the Marvel franchise, definitely check this collection out. But if not, subscribe and I'll help you find another LEGO game in another sale instead. We have a racing game next, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. It was released in 2020, so it's 2 years old, but it's a much older game than that really, and is on a 90% discount for the price of £3.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and it's a dirt cheap price. It's really good, especially as this game's not only remastered, but it also includes all of the DLC as well, so you're getting the complete version of the game, which is great. In this racer, you get to race through the streets as both a street racer and a hot pursuit cop in the world's hottest high-performance cars, getting to both run from the police and trap and erase racers as well, and even features 8-player online multiplayer, although I've heard the studio's been shutting down the servers for the older Need for Speed games, so I'm not sure how much I'd rely on that to be honest. The Need for Speed series is legendary, and back in the day when it was at its heyday, this was one of the best ones around. So seeing it getting remastered is great, because a lot of people missed it, and they should have a chance to play it these days. So if you're a fan of street racing games, and you want to see what the hype was about back in the day, you might want to check this game out, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people can't be wrong, right? And hey, if you've never played a street racer before, you definitely want to start with this series. It was legendary for a reason, and there's a ton of good games in the series. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun, but if you're willing to wait, stick around and we'll find you a newer one in another sale. So subscribe, and I'll see you there. Next up is my star by Skyworld. It was released in 2019, so it's 3 years old, and it's on at least a 90% discount for the low price of £2.49 or £1.24 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really awesome price, especially for a VR game. You don't often see them this cheap. It's ridiculously good. In this VR RTS with Move Controller support, so if you don't have them you can still play it, but you're much better off playing it with them. Demons have invaded the Sky Worlds, and now you must take your army on a campaign to save the Sky Worlds from the evil darkness. It features a story campaign, 1v1 online multiplayer, spells and abilities, upgradable buildings, and units as well. There's not a lot of RTS in VR, and this is one of the few you can pick up. And more than that, it looks like a really decent one as well. It looks like a lot of fun to play, and it really suits VR as well. If you're a fan of RTS, and you've got a PSVR headset, then definitely check this out. It's so cheap, and it looks like really good quality for that price. You can't go far wrong if you like VR games. And hey, if you haven't played a VR RTS before, then like I said, you don't have many choices. So if you're interested in them, definitely check this one out. Especially at this price, you can't go far wrong at all. Like I said, it's my star buy. Definitely take a look. It's well worth your money, I promise. Our next game is The Surge 2 Premium Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £10.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal, as this edition includes the Season Pass DLC worth over £12, including the Kraken expansion as well, so you're getting the complete version of the game, which is really good. This is a Souls-like game where you get to explore the devastated city of Jericho while fighting numerous ferocious threats in unforgiving combat. This sci-fi Souls-like game features a dynamic limb targeting system and many ways to improve and customize your exoskeleton. This is basically Dark Souls, but sci-fi and set in the future. So if you like Dark Souls games, but you always wish they were sci-fi themed instead of medieval themed, then this is definitely for you. They're a really good series that fans of Soul games will love. So if that sounds like you, definitely check this out. You'll have a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you've never played a Souls-like game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. You can get other ones cheaper, including the first game of this franchise, so you're probably better off starting there instead, or even with one of the other Dark Souls games. Like I said, quite a few of them come cheaper than this, so subscribe and I'll help you find them when they go on sale. Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales is our next game. It was released in 2018, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £4.79, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. This is an RPG deck builder set between the second and third book, where you play as Queen Maeve, fighting to regain your throne during the Nilfgaardian invasion. It features card-based combat, deck building, puzzles, RPG elements, base building, upgrading and management, and more as well. So there's a ton of features in this game, and it's really different than the others as well. I've heard the card-based combat is even based on Gwent. It's not the Gwent from the Witcher games though, it's a slightly different version. Hey, I'm no expert, but in any case, it's based on it. It's a version of Gwent, which will be cool for fans of the series. Like I said, if you're a fan of The Witcher, definitely check this out. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you haven't played a deck builder before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. It's a very unique game with a mix of different gameplay elements that I'm not sure everybody would like. If you're a Witcher fan and you like the sound of it, then definitely take a look at it. But if you're not, maybe take a look around and pick up a different game instead. And the final game is TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2. It was released in 2020, so it's only 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal. In this game you must prove yourself across multiple championships before finally facing the Snaefell mountain course, a 60km track that will test you to your limit. It features 17 additional tracks, 18 bikes including classic models, and all the official riders of the TT Championship. If you're a fan of this race, you'll probably really enjoy this game, and if you're a fan of bike races and want something different, then you should definitely check this out. It's very different to other bike races, and you'll probably really enjoy yourself. And hey, if you've never played a bike racer before, then I'm not sure I'd tell you to start here. You can get cheaper bike games definitely, and this one is very unique. So unless you really like the look of this one, you'll probably be better off starting somewhere else. And that's all of the games I have for the Black Friday PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some cool games to play, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.